down? The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080. Yeah!
What's going on? It's hump day. Right here in the Nutmeg State. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. I got to give a quick shout out. Real quick, I just got her card. Ann Baldwin, of course, one of the sisters here in the family of WTIC. Good to meet you, Ann. Finally, she and I spoke on the phone a while back on a story that we did with a football team at a high school, and she helped me with some of the details in that, and we might be hollering at Ann Baldwin. We'll actually bring her on the show. She has a weekend show here on WTIC. We'll show her some love as well. It was good to meet you, Ann. A lot of if I may say so myself about Connecticut, a lot of very well-dressed, well-put-together folks who live in the town. I don't want to sound sexist when I say it, but I'm just saying that all the women that I'm meeting out here, the professional women, are dressed to the nines and they look serious. You know, they make me uncomfortable how serious they look. It's like, I don't even know how to address you. I'm sitting up here in a T-shirt and a baseball cap. And these people are all dressed to the nines. No matter where they go, they just look just very, very professional. Ann is definitely one of them. Just every time I turn around. Anyway, I don't want to get into all of that. It gets weird. Your favorite individual is here. So I'll just let her say hello first before I get into the opening monologue. Yes, that's right. Your apple pie has arrived. Roseanne is in the house. How are you, my dear?
I'm good. Am I safe to move this?
No, you're good. You're good where you are.
Okay.
Usually you move that microphone in so many weird places, you block my camera. Now, I'm not a vain person. It's just bad for the shot.
Yes, you are, but it's okay.
That's all right. Well, you can move the microphone closer to you, or you can move closer to it. That's all. There you go. You're fine.
All right.
Don't be weird. You know how to do this now. So the audience missed you because you haven't been on here a while, and you know they love you. So you want to tell everybody all the important things you were doing, like shoveling snow? And
I did. I shoveled snow, and I broke, like, the ice was so thick. It was like 3-4 inches. It was 3 inches thick the first day, and as the days progressed, the snow just got thicker and thicker. It got to a point where we just couldn't even break the ice. It was terrible. But we did shovel out some people. We helped people get out of their parking spots. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I went to Wawa a lot, and I got addicted to a milkshake that they have at the Wawa. So that could be a problem.
Yeah. Well, we don't have a Wawa here, so we don't have a problem with that.
I did get to go to Weggies, and I got my stuff at Weggies, so I was very happy about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but you're glad to be back.
I really am.
Yeah. You really love it here.
I love Connecticut. As soon as I got here, I was, it's going to sound so bad. Northern Virginia is the Timu, Connecticut. I mean, it really is. It's like Connecticut's much, much younger step cousin.
Step cousin. That's
cousin.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's not even a full-fledged, like, family member. You can't even trace blood.
It's like you married into, but you're still the stepchild of the married into.
Yes.
No, but I did enjoy being back in Northern Virginia, but as soon as the people started talking and behaving the way they normally do, I was like, get me out of here. So people up here are so friendly, so nice. Everywhere we go, everybody's willing to, like, we're always greeted with a smile. And people, like, it's not like people know us, right? We're not like on TV, so they don't know our faces. But everywhere we go, people are so nice. What was the name of the diner we went to this weekend? Before?
10 Main.
10 Main. We just, I mean, we walked in and everybody was just, hey, how you guys doing? It was really nice. And that's been my experience in Connecticut thus far. And it's kind of hard to not want to be in this environment.
Yeah, it has been great. But we got plenty of stuff to get into today. We have the governor's address. Today we're going to break that down with every bit of his speech. Of course, as you guys know, the governor always, or usually the president even, when they give their speech, it's usually given to the media ahead of time. So we all had it ahead of time, and we fact-checked it immediately. Again, knowing that this stuff is going to be fact-checked, I'm always stunned that they actually just say it anyway. So we'll break all of that down. I also want to talk about something no one is talking about here in Connecticut, and Roseanne and I went out and spoke to people in the service industries about it, and that is the no taxes on tips. And it has been 100% ignored in the state of Connecticut, while at the same time everywhere is talking about this $200 rebate that Governor Lamont is bragging about, and I might add some people in the media are. And I want to play some of that today, so give me an opportunity. I mean, we'll break all of that down in due course. Plus, Roseanne's done some research on another topic we're talking about, and that's this woman who's talking about neurosis. The woman who's, when you hear the audio, you will get it because it explains so much when I saw this video, and I figured it out. She is talking about women, but it just helped me. It's helped me in so many ways understand men. Boy, liberal men. You fascinated me for a lot of years, but I got a window into your mindset. And when you guys hear this, you will now, when you see a liberal guy and you talk to him, you will finally understand where it's coming from. It's crazy. It is really, really wild. Lori Maz and Lori L in the building as well. Scallywags are they. Bell City Diner on Pine Street in Forestville section of Bristol is great too. Fine, we will get out there. Mm-hmm. In fact, if that, I feel like, no, that was in Middletown, the one that we saw. How many lies were in Lamont's speech? Richard asked. Well, you know what?
The word "the" a few times, so that was true.
Speaking of which, let's get to it. I want to break these down to you, folks. We'll get to Roseanne in a second here. Let's talk so I broke these claims in Lamont's speech by category. And the categories are, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll love the fact that I put them in these categories. Where Lamont is exaggerating was one category. Another category is flat out false claims by Lamont. And my favorite one, where is Lamont spouting bull crapazola? Or, as a lot of people like to call it, bull yankins. Instead of the usual BS. We traced them all. Roseanne, I will let you do the directing in here. Which would you like to hear first? The exaggerating, the flat-out false claims, or the BS?
I want to hear yankings.
Okay, you want to hear the yankings first. Fine. Perfect. Ned Lamont, quote, said, because we have used Connecticut common sense, we have been able to make up for some of the harsh cuts coming out of the White House. Where is this BS? Common sense, they say? This is classic Democrat deflection, blaming harsh cuts on Trump-era policies when federal spending hit records in 2025, a $7 trillion budget. Connecticut is making up means hiking state spending 4.4% to $2.87 billion per his proposal, funded by volatile stocks, not efficiency. Real common sense would be slashing regulations, not creating $31.3 million emergency fund slush. That's just more taxpayer cash for progressive programs. As Vincent Candelora called out, it's growing government, not protecting people. Here's another quote. Many of you over here want to add $500 million in tax cuts And over here, $500 million in tax cuts leaving deficits in future years. We'll figure out how to pay for it later. Oh, no, not again, he says, which is BS because they say it's the pot calling the kettle black. He's the one proposing a $500 million rebate from streaky AI stocks, a gimmick that vanishes next year, while rejecting sustainable cuts like conforming to federal no tax on tips and overtime, which is a big deal. We'll talk about that later. Here's another quote where he's BSing. He said, let's go one step further. No phones, bell to bell in any of our schools. Let's work with our neighboring states in requiring that no child under the age of 18 has access to these dangerous apps without parental permission. They call BS on this. Although it sounds tough, it's nanny state overreach disguised as protection. Enforcing no phone statewide ignores local control and mandating app restrictions via interstate pacts. While unconstitutional BS stepping on parental rights where distracting from real school fails fall flat, which is exactly the problem because the schools are failing, especially in the inner city. Ask Justin Elliker. He says that himself. Where is Lamont exaggerating? He's exaggerating when he says, quote, unlike many other states, which are facing federal cuts on a deficit of their own, Connecticut is stepping up to protect our most vulnerable. And we are trying to make life a little less expensive for working families and the middle class who are getting slammed by higher costs. The exaggeration is Connecticut, as a lone survivor where 28 states, per NASBO 2026 reports, balanced budgets without deficits, many surpluses bigger than ours. Texas has an $18 billion versus Connecticut's $1.2 billion. And stepping up, he's hyping minor patches like food and backfills while ignoring how his policies, meaning the minimum wage hikes, fueled 6% inflation in Connecticut, higher than the national average of 4.5%. He claims middle-class relief. That's a $400 million tax cut, he brags, was a one-time tweak, not structural property taxes, which is still averaging $7,000 plus, slamming families harder than low-regulated states. He also said, quote, our housing market is very tight, which means that your home is worth 40% more than it was 5 years ago. That's good. You are building wealth, he says. The response to that was 40%. Zillow and the FHFA, and that's the, Fair Housing Act, excuse me, data says that Connecticut home values up 32% since 2021, while the national rate is 38%, not 40%. He's inflating to sugarcoat the crisis. Building wealth, he says, for owners maybe, but renters, 40% of Connecticut households face a 15% plus rent hike yearly. That means, you know why, right? Immigration costs. That's immigration. He also says getting our fiscal house in order has also allowed us to save young and growing families tens of thousands of dollars per year in child care costs. They say tens of thousands. State endowment added $150 million since 2023, but average family savings are just $2,000 to $4,000 a year via subsidies, not $10,000. Many families still pay $15,000 for annual infant care. His universal push is phased, covering only low-income slots, leaving middle-class families grinding out real relief. In essence, he's delivered nothing for middle-class families. He's only delivered for the poorest among us.
4 more years. 4 more years.
And now for the flat-out lies. They are a few. He says, quote, we saved you money and ensured Connecticut has more of our citizens with wealth insurance while the rest of the country has less. Fact? Straight bull. It's a straight lie. Connecticut's uninsured rate is around 5.2%. That's per latest census data adjusted for 2025 and 2026. But that's not because of state magic. It's tied to national trends under the Affordable Care Act's expansions that predate his term. Nationally, uninsured dropped to 7.7% in 2025, with states like Texas and Florida higher. But Connecticut's more insured claims ignores that places like Massachusetts, 2.5%, and Vermont, 3.7%, beat us handedly. This saved money a bit, but premiums on average or on the exchange rose 8 to 12%. In 2025, despite subsidies, per Access Health Connecticut reports, federal cuts were fully made up, just patched with taxpayer cash. Shifting cost is not saving. He also said, we have faster economic growth, fourth highest in the country last quarter. More new business startups, lower unemployment than most in the nation. No, that is false and a lie. The data for the Q4 2025 shows that Connecticut's GDP growth at 2.8%, ranking 18th, not 4th. Top spots were tech-heavy like California with 4.2%. Business startups? No, not true at all. Connecticut's at 4.1% growth rate, below the national 4.9%, with states like Florida crushing it at 6.2%. And unemployment? Connecticut is at 4.1%. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, January 2026, says that's higher than the national 3.8% and way above low-tax states like South Dakota, which is 2.1%. He's cherry-picking or inventing rankings to pat his back. And last but not least, the Millstone contract is returning over $100 million to ratepayers this year as the price of natural gas skyrockets. A flat-out lie. The Millstone deal, extended 2019, has no direct return mechanism. It's a ratepayer-funded subsidy, locking in power purchases. New England reports no $100 million rebate. Instead, ratepayers paid $200 million plus in 2025 for the plant's operations amid gas spikes. Eversource filings confirm costs passed to consumers, not refunds. Pure spin to hide how his green deals jack up bills. When we return, we'll talk about what people are saying about the $200 he plans on giving everybody. We'll be back at Reese on the Radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the Radio. Roseanne is here on the radio as well. And a story that I've been talking about a little bit, I found very, very fascinating because one story gets ignored, but the other one gets all the coverage and barely any scrutiny. And that is this $200 sort of payback that Governor Lamont is calling it to people's like, oh, an energy rebate. Here's $200 for a single, $400 if you're a family to put in your pocket. And everybody's like, yeah, for people making up to $200,000 a year, which is wild. What Roseanne, you're chomping at the bit here. What's going on?
So it would be a $200 rebate for a single person,
right.
$400 for a family. So I want to base this on a family, right?
Okay.
A $400 rebate when the average electric bill or the average utility bill in Connecticut is $638 a month. So this wouldn't even cover 1 month, what Lamont is talking about giving people.
And it's a one-time deal.
One time. And this doesn't even include what is that for the poor people? Oh,
the public benefits charge.
That doesn't even include the public benefits charge.
Yeah, I had a hard time remembering that as well. Every time somebody mentioned it, I was like, what's that thing called again? It's such a weird name of something. So Roseanne and I were on the way into the studio, and I got this weird idea. And I'll explain to you what I did, and it ended up it's funny, when you talk to people, their reaction is so visceral. But before that happens, let me get to the whole point that I was making here. The President of the United States signs the One Big Beautiful Bill on the 4th of July last year. And in the One Big Beautiful Bill, we have no taxes on tips and no taxes on overtime. And, of course, plenty of states jumped at it to support the president and support giving their constituents, their citizens, this much-needed relief after 4 years of rising costs that they had to survive. What a way to tell taxpayers, thank you. You know what? You dealt with it. No one ever sort of showed you the respect you deserved when, supply chains were short and prices went through the roof and the gas prices went through the roof. And the administration before us stopped drilling and was using our reserves in the South and selling it to China. Just all of that stuff. And the president said, you need relief. And how was that responded to by liberal or Democrat governors? Nah, we're never going to give that relief to the people. And one person who was talking about it to the news media was our very own Vincent Candelora. And this was him on January 30th, I think, talking about it to the local news.
Now, we heard today talking about affordability, and we're extending these programs to help affordability. But this is the same governor that's not adopting any of the tax reductions that the federal government has been proposing, whether it's tax on tips or tax on overtime. We're hearing they're not going to adopt those. So when it comes to affordability, I want to have a broader conversation of what the residents think will make things more affordable, not what the governor thinks.
What do you mean by that? In other words, tax on tips would be taxable at the state level? Is that what you mean on that, and not at the federal?
Yeah. I mean, giving money to a school in New Haven or Hartford doesn't help my district. But certainly if we extended the no tax on tips and the no tax on overtime, that certainly helps people broadly throughout the state of Connecticut. The governor has rejected that.
And he did. And the crazy part about that is that everyone is talking about affordability. And that would address affordability. Roseanne, you looked up the numbers of people who are in the service industry that receive tips.
Yes.
What's the number of the people who receive, how much of our population in Connecticut are tip recipients?
9.1% or 155,100 persons work in the service industry, and that is only hotel, bars, restaurants, people that are earning tips in that sense.
Okay. Well, we also have people working in casinos and things like that. We have Mohegan Sun, of course. But what about the people who are working overtime?
Overtime. This one actually is much more substantial. It is up to 31% of nutmeggers, with 1,713,900 human beings that need overtime to survive. Now, what this overtime means is people in transportation, your bus drivers, your light crew people, your TS, all of those people, which we all need. Manufacturing, construction workers, because the big deal right now is
overtime is really at the core of their bread and butter. I mean,
right, but there's not enough homes, and so they're spending all their time building homes, right? Utilities, which would be your power company in case the power goes down, a big storm knocks out your wires.
Sure.
Main bursts and there's water everywhere. And this one I was going to ignore, government, until I realized what that means. I looked and I said, what do you mean by government? We're talking about people who remove your snow. We're talking about your trash people. We're talking about, people that work in the local on-the-ground government, making sure that your potholes are filled, your stop signs are working, your stoplights are working. So all of these people depend very heavily on overtime.
And primarily they rely on overtime now more so because it's so expensive to live here.
Right, but also bear in mind that these aren't you can't just go and pull Johnny off the street and be like, hey, man, I need you to go fix that stoplight. You have to have somebody who's skilled. These are skilled laborers.
But think about this, and this is the part that baffles me. because you have somebody who can work overtime to make $400-500, right? In fact, I would say in overtime, you could probably make $1,000 in overtime, which would cover what you said earlier was your average utility bill. It would be, right?
Right.
You would work overtime for that.
Just to keep your lights on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Versus the governor handing you a $200, possibly a $400 one-time stipend.
Which might, depending on the size of your vehicle, fill your gas tank a couple times.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's literally nothing. So which is the part that I don't understand is that, again, here's Vincent Candelora mentioning that the governor says he cares about affordability, decides to opt out of the opportunity to extend no taxes on tips and no taxes on overtime right here. We can address the problem, clearly. Instead, he gives $200. There's no juxtaposition being done in the media, right? So before we got into the studio today, I had a weird plan, and I said, you know what, we're going to take a detour. So there's a diner that you and I go to all the time in Plainville. And I said, you know what? We're going to go talk to Tabitha, who's a manager there. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what? I just want to...
And I want to let everybody know, it's Tabitha and another young lady. These two ladies run the entire diner 7 days a week by themselves.
Exactly.
And it is a madhouse in there all of the time.
And it's very popular.
Yeah.
And in talking to Tabitha, which was so crazy, there was a woman with her daughter sitting at a counter overhearing my interview with Tabitha. Here's what Tabitha said about, in her view, the difference between getting this $200 or having no taxes on tips or overtime.
As a server and having been in this industry for, over 30 years, our minimum wage is $6.38 an hour. So a $200 rebate is not helpful at all. The no taxes on our tips and overtime is way more beneficial, for people in the service industry, because we rely on people's generosity to tip us. Not everybody tips. Not everybody tips, the quote-unquote 20%. And while there's others that go above and beyond, and that's what helps carry us, but, having to pay taxes, on that money that, yes, we choose to do this as a living, but that's because I can do very well at it, because I am good at my job. But, having to pay taxes on top of that it's a lot.
And she's right. And a woman who was sitting there with her daughter was absolutely livid, primarily because the impression you and I got, Roseanne, was that she voted for Lamont.
Yeah.
And she heard about this $200 and she said it was a slap in the face.
That's a very nice way of putting what she
said.
Oh,
no, she was cursing. She was livid.
She looked like she wanted to come across the diner at us. She was so angry.
Asking Tabitha this question, a woman was listening to this after she had expressed herself. The look on her face was outraged because she did say this, and I didn't want to record her because it was going to be difficult to get permission from her. But she goes, and I know this guy, right? The way she says it is, I know this guy, and I couldn't believe it. It's like it's an absolute slap in the face. My daughter works at a job where she works overtime. Like, people need that money. And she was like, this is bull crap. And I'm like,
yeah.
And then I didn't want to enrage her anymore, but I was like,
right. I think what really said a lot to me was I said, listen, you got to come out and vote. She says, I do vote. But in the end, he just keeps telling lies, which means to me that she's voting for the same person.
Yeah.
Who just says the pretty thing, but in the end is still a friggin' liar.
Yeah, but this, you know what, the look on her face, the fact that we changed her mood.
Vitriol.
Yeah, the mood in her face was so different.
Yeah.
And she was having a very joyful conversation with her daughter.
Adult daughter, yeah.
But then when she started talking about this, she was sitting there stewing.
She was very angry.
I felt guilty. That was the reason why I didn't approach her. I was like, I feel like I just messed up her day. like I felt awful. So then in that, we stopped at another restaurant on the way back.
Right.
And we just jumped in to talk to two folks, a bartender and a server were there in a restaurant. We were asking them, I was like, hey, listen, I wanted to record them, but he was like, no, people will recognize my voice. Yeah. And so I just asked them, and I said, well, just tell us what you think. And his attitude was also the same.
He said almost the exact same
thing as Tabitha.
Phraseology was well, as we called it as kids, is bull hockey.
Yeah. And the young lady who was there is just 26 years old. She's worked in the industry as a server for 10 years. She said her family's own restaurants. Mm-hmm. So she's in this business. And they, again, looking at this $200, are saying to themselves, this isn't helping anything.
Right. Well, even the no tax on tips part, they both agreed. The young lady told us that at 26, her mother had 3 children and was able to raise a family, just on that industry. I mean, I'm assuming dad was in the picture. She didn't say, but she was able to raise a family working in this industry, in the service industry. And today she said, I can't even afford to not live with my parents.
Yeah, that's when she said that, I was like, wow.
So, what the gentleman said was actually more poignant. He said, we weren't even given an opportunity to decide if we wanted to opt in or out.
That's
right.
It
was just done to us.
Oh, that was probably the best line.
Yeah.
That was. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. More on this when we return. Roseanne's here. Reese on the radio is here. And you'll be here when we return. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I was worried about touching a darn cord, and I was going to end up hitting your camera there, Roseanne. Anyway, we're back. Reese on the radio. Roseanne on the radio is here. We were talking about this... the waiters and the bartenders we were talking to today about this $200 rebate, as they're calling it. You mentioned something during the break that you wanted to address. What was that, Roseanne?
Yeah, I was looking and I asked, okay, so if Connecticut adopted no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, the state would lose $100 to $150 million in tax revenue.
Okay.
That's not a lot considering how large the overall revenue is for the state of Connecticut,
right?
The tax revenue. So I asked for a list of 5 wasteful NGOs that we could eliminate to make up for the difference.
Okay.
Blue Hills Civic Association.
That's the one we actually that's under investigation.
Prosperity Foundation.
That's another one that's under investigation, oddly enough.
My People Community Services. Cicero.
That's
what we talked about.
Yep. All of these people are under investigation or a federal investigation.
And then general subrecipients of BHCA grant. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. So you're talking about just those?
And Sheba.
Also under investigation. So all of the ones that are under investigation would make up for no taxes on tips and no taxes on overtime, the revenue that the state gets.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
Yeah. If you get rid of just those, you'll be able to afford no tax on tips and no tax on overtime.
That's
so why people continue to vote for Ned Lamont, I don't understand. I used to do this thing with the girls, right? My daughters, stepdaughters. One of them was notorious for she would play fast and loose with the truth.
Okay.
And so I'd walk up to her and I would be like this. I'm not poking you. I'm not poking you.
While you're actively poking her.
I'm not poking you, right? And I am. I'm poking her in the hip and the shoulder, and she's looking at me like, you're poking me. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. Well, which do I believe? The words or the actions? Personally, I believe the actions. If I feel like somebody's poking me and I can see them with my eyeballs poking my person, I'm going to believe that what I see and what I feel, your words mean crap. And...
yeah, truthfully, all of this is nonsense. I know Betsy McCoy was supposed to be giving a rebuttal today. I don't know where that was posted, but I'm going to look it up. And by the way, if somebody has where it is, I will look it up and see if we can get audio sound bites from it. But this is, and the point that I'm trying to make in all of this, and the reason why we spoke to Tabitha and the reason why we stopped at the restaurant, this is something that folks need to start adapting in their campaign. Hear me out. It's not just Aaron Stewart. It's not just Betsy McCoy or Ryan Fazio. It has got to be the Republican Party. Okay? This cannot be about, Carl Fishbein getting on social media, talking about it on Facebook or talking about it on X. That doesn't work. Every one of these guys have got to do what we did today at a spur of the moment. Go down to the diners. Go down to the bus depot. Go down to all of these places where people make tips and work overtime. Get those people on camera talking to you in the places where they work and ask them. Then Lamont wants to give you a $200 rebate versus you being able to not take taxes off on your tips or your overtime. Which would you prefer? Put those people online.
I think it's really this was just such a great morning because I asked at the second place that we stopped, do you know anything about Ryan Fazio, Betsy McCoy, or Aaron Stewart? And they were like, no idea who those people are.
No. And they didn't even know that the governor was giving an address today.
They had no idea. So here we are asking these people to elect someone, to put them into office. Your senator, your governor, your congressman, all of these people represent you.
Yeah.
They represent me. And if you don't know what's going on, where they're at, what they're doing, what they stand for, somebody else is voting for you. And these idiots are they're hijacking Connecticut.
Yeah. And and what I mean by going out there, public officials, no matter who you are, look, it's nice and all for you to film a cute video at City Hall or in your office.
Your hair and makeup.
It's great but the biggest problem that everybody has, no matter who it is we've spoken to, they say the same thing. They're not out here with us. They're in City Hall. They're always in their offices, in their warm, cushy offices, talking about how they're going to make our lives better, and they never talk to us. They never, have a conversation with us. If you want to do a cute social media video, here's the way you do it. Get out there, go to the restaurants, and go talk to the people who are there. You don't even have to ask them for their vote. Just let them know that you give a damn. Do a video with them. Tell us about the things that matter to you and how government isn't serving you. That's what you need to do. Everybody's going to pay attention to that. They're going to tell their friends, hey, I did a video with Fishbein. I was with Aaron Stewart. I was with Ryan Fazio when we talked about this. That's the stuff you got to do. We got to take a hard break. We got to get to the top of the hour news. John Silva is here with said news in the WTIC newsroom. We'll be back after this.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. Roseanne is on the radio. What are you over there looking at? You are very, very immersed in something.
I'm minding my own business. Texting with someone, that's all.
Oh, okay.
About pugs.
Do you
Hi,
know
Julie?
Who? Oh,
Hi, Julie.
Oh, okay. There are plenty of people who listen to this program who are obsessed with Donald Trump. And I don't ever think that in my lifetime I've ever seen this except for in 2008 with Barack Obama. Now, the obsessions are different in the sense of, with Obama, it was fawning. And, of course, with Donald Trump, it's, absolute apathy.
Right.
But it's still the same kind of obsession because with Obama, people thought that he could affect like the most ridiculous of things. And in talking to people who sort of came away from the Obama administration with brighter eyes, said when they were interviewed afterwards, they were completely captured by his presence and believed some of the crazy stuff. In fact, there is a woman who, after 2012, who turned around and no longer supported Barack Obama. She was actually captured on a video talking about how she expected climate change to be fixed because of Obama, that she was no longer going to pay taxes. She was on camera saying, I'll never pay taxes again. My life is going to be so perfect. And then before the 2012 election, they caught up with her and found out that she had become disenchanted with the 4 years of Obama. And they played that video, and she was absolutely ashamed. She was like, I just believed everything that was out there. She was just so disenchanted. It was almost like a weird thing. It is the same case with these folks when it comes to Donald Trump. Now, I know that there are plenty of people who are going to say, well, MAGA folks are like that too. Just hear me out. I've seen some MAGA folks who are diehard MAGA folks. And when I say diehard, they are like gung-ho, like, yeah, Donald Trump, MAGA. Like those guys are absolutely, yeah, some of them are scary. No, I'm not going to lie. Some of them are scary. But never once have I, and when I hear, like, when we talk about, like, off the beaten path MAGA guys, I've heard them talk about some stuff that has made me go, okay, I mean, all right, that may be a little far afoot. Talking about the secret societies and,
right, I was just trying to remember the name of it, like the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Right.
The secret society, the lizard people. Exactly. Right.
Right.
Never once. And if you're really paying attention, and I know that these people are not, if you compare the two, right, talk about Obama supporters versus Donald Trump supporters. The Obama supporters thought that Obama could do everything, including float in the sky. Like, you give him an opportunity, he may float above you.
Right. That's what made him such a great basketball player at the White House against staffers.
But they used the word Messiah. Even Barbara Walters said it. Okay? That we saw him as a Messiah. With Donald Trump, it has never been that. In fact, when talking about Donald Trump, many people have been agitated by Trump supporters for them saying these words, that God is looking out for him. Not that he is a God, that God is looking out for him. So again, it's ridiculous for a MAGA supporter to say God has placed his hands on Donald Trump. But it was quite all right.
What they're hearing you say is Barack Obama has anointed and is protecting Donald Trump. And that is not okay.
But that's, again, we were talking about, in essence, I'm just talking about Donald Trump has never been referred to, even by the most diehard MAGA person, as being a deity.
No.
Never. Barack Obama was.
Right.
And so trying to compare the two is ridiculous, right? It's insane. No one has ever said that about Donald Trump. People have had to deal with his flaws. Why? Because his flaws are public.
They're very noticeable.
Right, they're very noticeable.
Yes.
Exactly. Where Barack Obama, everything about him is hidden.
It's very,
right?
Obama was very curated and polished and rehearsed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When there was a rumor going around about a man who came forward and said that he had a night of drugs and homosexual acts with Barack Obama at a hotel room, not one person would cover the story.
Wow.
Yet, Stormy Daniels everywhere, even a criminal case, right? But again, we're supposed to believe that when there's a sex scandal, it is, again, something that every news media outlet is supposed to be feverishly thirsting for. We have that now. I'm just saying, we have that now with the Epstein files, right? We can't stop talking about the Epstein files. I got people right here in the chat room about the Epstein. But again, like I said, Barack Obama had what was called a credible accusation of not assault, a consensual adult relationship with a man in Chicago, and it was ignored. Nothing there, nothing to see. Man came forward and said, this is what happened. Another individual in Chicago who worked at Jeremiah Wright's, Jeremiah Wright's church, who was suspiciously murdered in his home, as many people, even his own mother says, suspiciously murdered in his home, claimed to have a consensual relationship with Barack Obama. Claimed to be. Now, I'm not accusing anything, and I got nothing against it. And by the way, I will even go so far as to say this. So what? I thought being a homosexual was just as natural as anything. So again, why wasn't it covered? Why wasn't it talked about? Technically, it would be the soon-to-be president of the United States was having sexual affair with another individual, which, by the way,
Gay
was
and black?
Gay and black. Oh, and by the way, which was obviously topics of discussion that the news media didn't seem to scare from when the person involved was John Edwards or the big kahuna himself, William Jefferson Clinton. You might know him as Bill, right? Nobody ever shied away. But Barack Obama, no touching, no going near it, taboo if you dared. In fact, your reputation was done with. Right?
Yeah.
And so now I ask one simple question, and it's about as simple as it could possibly get. Why are we obsessing about the Epstein thing? Because people want justice for the girls? You can't name the girls.
No, they don't.
They've all come out publicly. You can't name one of them. But guess what? I know who Paula Jones is. I've got names for days with individuals who have been in so-called scandals with people. You can't name one name. The only thing you seem to be obsessing about is the Trump allegations. In fact, there's one allegation in the Epstein files, which actually makes me laugh, is that it's an allegation that's made in the 2010s about something that is alleged to have happened in 1995 at a Trump golf course. Do you think anybody did any research on it? No, because the golf course in question, they say, is Trump's in 1995, even though Trump didn't purchase the property until 1996.
Right.
Nobody seemed to care. Apparently, the facts don't matter.
No.
Not at all. Right? So I'm asking a simple question. What's the deal? Don't give me the whole, well, we should go, and we should know about Bill Clinton, too. I don't want to hear it.
I have an answer. I started watching these videos or getting these videos coming across my feed from someone called Lionheart Church. He's a black minister in Georgia. And he is preaching to his all-black congregation about why we need to pray for Donald Trump. It is in the Bible that we are to pray for our leaders.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. It's in the Torah, too.
But he says, what you fail to appreciate in your hatred of this man is that God uses people, what is not evil people, but he uses infamous people to do his will, to enact his justice. He is doing it in a way that is causing you and me and others in our finite thought processes to become very angry and vitriolic. But what you're failing to appreciate is the grander scheme. See, the Lord is using this man, this polarizing man, to exact his justice. He goes on to talk about what happened in Venezuela. He says, everybody here in America is upset. You know who's rejoicing? The Venezuelan people.
Right.
The boats, the drug boats, Democrats all up in arms. Hey, the murder. Guess who's rejoicing? We went from having 9 to 12 fentanyl ODs a day to 3 a month. Who's rejoicing?
Yeah, families with addicted families, family members.
So you know what? You may not like the name Donald Trump. You may not like the things that he says. Sometimes he says things like, "Oh, we probably could have worded that, or we shouldn't. We could have left that part out." Right? I cringe sometimes, like maybe not the best, but he's doing things that God has put him in place to do. People don't realize what is happening in our country right now. We have communists in office. We have an Islamic State that is spreading violently across our country. We have children who are choosing to save puppies over human babies.
Yeah, that's a crazy video.
We have people who don't want to get married. We have nihilists. I mean, these radical. We are mutilating our children in the name of equality. We are being outbirthed, outbred of our own nation, and we have co-conspirators, all in the name of, but it's compassionate.
Hold on, I want to just address some of the things in here. Sokolowski, God bless you, man. I haven't seen in a little bit. He says, Trump has deeply disappointed me. Abandoned no more wars. Ukraine war is still killing Slavic people every day. Trump is making Israel great, not the U.S. Sokolowski, let's be a little honest here. Disappointing you by saying that he's abandoned no more wars. I'd love to know where a war is that he started at all That's, again, there's nothing factual about that. You know that, okay? The fact that he attacked Iran and their nuclear facilities, that's not a war. That it just isn't. You know it isn't. The fact that he went out and got Maduro, there is no military action happening in Venezuela as we speak. No new war. So if you think that it's a war because there were attacks on both of these facilities, then we are kind of stretching the term war or the word war to some degree. The Ukraine war is still happening, but then again, that is beyond anyone's control because the two people who have to come to the table are the people who are actually in the war. And therefore, you would kind of be giving Donald Trump an incredible amount of latitude to say that he has a control over what two sovereign nations wish to do as a fight, in a fight. And he said he's making Israel great, but not the United States. Okay. I'm not going to make an argument about the Israel thing because that goes down a wormhole, but I will say this, not making U.S. great, that's a bit of a stretch. But Sokolowski, I consider you a reasonable person. I know what you mean, or at least what you're trying to say. Let's get to the Cicero comments here. Obama hasn't been president for going on 10 years. Okay, and this means what? If you're saying that because he hasn't been, oh, wait a minute, you know what? You know what? You just gave me the idea. Cicero, you just cleared it up for me. I got it. Obama hasn't been president in over 10 years. Donald Trump is the current president, which is why all of this is so important to you. You see, Donald Trump is the president. You don't want him to be president. So you need this thing to unseat him because nothing else is working. So your obsession with this is personal. You see, if this actually weighs on him so much that they will actually, one, win the midterms, Democrats, and then they will impeach him and they'll get rid of him. So that's why it's so important to you. So you will, it's not so much as fabricate, you will so much as blow up the whole importance of Epstein. You blow up the importance of the Epstein files so that you can get your way. But this isn't even about me. This is about your mental health. You believe talking about Epstein as much as you do that you will in some way, I guess,
willfully insert Trump's name in there.
You're like, if I keep saying Trump, Epstein,
Obama's
Trump.
in there. The Clintons are in there.
The Clintons are in there. Everybody's in there.
Everybody's in there.
There's a lot of dirt in there.
What everybody, and CNN, for all you lefties, CNN, your news oracle, has even come out and said that they've apologized, that Trump is nowhere in those files, and that he ended his relationship with Epstein even before he'd purchased the island.
And Cicero says this. I want to read exactly what Cicero says. And this is exactly where people like Cicero get themselves caught up, because he is. And thank you for actively responding to me while I'm on the air, Cicero. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to address it. And if you take a minute, right? If you take a minute to respond to this, that's okay. I'll just read it in the next half hour. So I'm going to ask you a question. Here's what he wrote. He says, none of what you're saying justifies pedophilia on the part of Donald Trump. Okay. Now, state the fact that Donald Trump is a part of it. You said that none of it excuses it. And because you are saying that as a matter of fact, please address that here.
Right. And it's important to note that proof requires credible, citation-filled facts.
Yeah, but
anything short of that is just
exactly. I don't want to hear anything about what I believe. I don't want to hear about what I heard. I don't want to hear that. You are saying that is a fact. It is a credible fact. So post it. It's right here. We'll wait for it. We will read it if it is indeed credible and you have it. Exactly. We'll be happy to share that link with everybody so that we can come out of the darkness and I can, as you put it, no longer spin it.
Please enlighten me.
That's what, you don't want you saying that I'm spinning it? Fine. I will give you the opportunity to provide the factual documentation that is true so I can be on the right side of this issue as you so put it out there. All right, as you describe it, give us the opportunity to be on the same page.
Help us.
And I will stop spinning it right now. Okay? Because what I think is happening, no, I'm not lying. Tell me, give me the actual fact. Don't talk to me about anything else. You said it doesn't give him an excuse for what you say is the crime he committed. Please present the crime. We are asking you, again, so that we are on the right page and I no longer spin. Right? You want me to tell the truth, right? Provide it to me.
Help me help you, homie.
Because I know what I read. You obviously read something else that I must have missed, and you clearly know more than the rest of us. Here's your opportunity to enlighten us. You're the star of the show now, buddy. You're the star. And we will give you all the credit. Okay? We'll take a break. We'll give you what? We got, let me see, the top of the hour coming up, bottom of the hour coming up. We got about a good 9-10 minutes, okay? Do your worst. We'll see you when we get back. It's Reese on the radio.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
We're back. Reese on the radio right here live, and we've got so much stuff to get into today. Betsy McCoy is going to be calling in at about 5 o'clock. She gave a response to Ned Lamont's State of the State address today. We'll talk to her about that as well, and also she'll be talking about the 11th commandment debate we're going to have with the candidates on the Republican side right here, hosted by WTIC, between myself, Brian Shackman, and Morgan Cunningham. We'll get her confirmation here live on the air. I want them on the air. I want them all on the air. Just to do that. Cicero, you may have been listening to, is joining us in the chat room, and Cicero, obviously you don't listen all the time, and that's okay, because when you come in, I love listening to the left, and I love liars more. I do. I just do, because it's an opportunity for me to express to them what is and what isn't a fact. So if I can, I'd like to read your comment here when I asked you to provide me with evidence of this charge against Donald Trump. You said that he was accused. What you failed to mention was that it was taken as a credible accusation when it was investigated and proven to be false. You ignored that. That wasn't important. The only thing that was important to you was that the fact that it was in the file, not researching if it was ever, if it's in the file, obviously it had to have been investigated. It wasn't sitting in the file and nobody moved on it. It was in the file. It was an accusation. It was moved on. Nothing credible about it. So that's why no action was taken. Okay? So that shows you're dishonest. But let's go one step further. You asked, where was the credible evidence you had on Obama? I never said it was credible. I said it was alleged by the person who says he had the affair with him. And he is on video talking about it in several places. He had a press conference about it. So if you believe that it is credible for somebody to say it, right, accusing them, then it is credible because of the accusation. Those are your criteria, not mine. But you set this to the table. You have to dine on it. He says, yet you just impugned his reputation. I did not. I just simply pointed out that someone did say he had a sexual and drug-fueled affair with him in Chicago before he was president of the United States. He says if Obama's name showed up 3,800 times in a pedophilia case, you would be singing it from the rooftops. Not if I knew that there was a credible investigation that proved that he did nothing wrong. I wouldn't go that far. You obviously are new to this show. I never report on things that are verifiably untrue. I always say if it's an allegation, it is alleged. I follow the rules most journalists refuse. They go out there and say it as a matter of a fact. Okay? I never do that. And then my favorite part, what I like to call the piece de resistance of somebody who clearly has not been paying attention to this show, this host, and the facts as we lay them out. He then says this, just like you MAGAs did when Trump claimed Obama was born in Kenya, where was the proof? But you ran with it. Stop the double standard. Cicero, we don't do double standards here. Where was the proof? Let me give you an outline, sir. In 1995 and written in 1994, Obama put out a book called Dreams from My Father. In 1995, he wrote in the liner notes, inside the sleeve, this which sits on my screen right now, because you're watching on video. But let me read to you what Barack Obama wrote in his own bio, which led to the investigation into whether or not he was born in Kenya. And as I like to say, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. Barack Obama wrote, Barack Obama, it says here that he was born in Kenya and the first African-American president of Harvard Law. Barack Obama wrote the liner. No one else did. No one else did. So where did we get it from? The man himself. As did Hillary Clinton, who claimed that he was from Kenya in 2008, far before Donald Trump ever mentioned it. So if you had known that, you wouldn't even ask that ridiculous question. I'll say it again. You obviously don't listen to this show, and you clearly don't know this host. It is my job to be well-researched. Go ahead, Roseanne.
Did we ever get any evidence, any citation?
No, he has none. He says that someone accused him, and that's enough. That's it.
Well, I would like to pose my own accusation.
No, you're not going to do
I'm
that.
not going to say the one. Sissy bro, you are a moron.
That's an accusation?
My accusation is I just said it. That's my evidence.
Okay. All right. I guess that went, well, whatever. Fine. Moving on. I just want to make sure I get that out there. Can you believe we're still having a conversation, Roseanne, about voter ID? Do you know that we're still having a conversation about that? Does anybody know that we're having a conversation about voter ID? It's not an issue. We know for a fact that Americans support voter ID.
No less than 80-something% of people across every demographic. Your Oracle, CNN actually posted that.
Yeah, let's play it. We have it here. We have the audio.
Go ahead. Yes.
Here is Harry Enton, the numbers guru at CNN, talking about the very issue.
Take a look here. Favorite voter ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country.
It isn't controversial. It doesn't matter who says it. Even Sonny Houston, an alleged black woman and a descendant of slaveholders, says that black people just can't get to the polling places.
The reason Democrats don't want voter ID is because they make it much more difficult for elderly people, people that don't travel, don't have a passport, poor people, that don't have cars, don't have driver's licenses. So it's sort of a vestige of, I think, post-slavery laws where black people had to prove their right to vote, and oftentimes they couldn't vote because they couldn't pass some crazy test or they didn't have the appropriate ID. It also affects women that are married. Maybe your passport reflects something that's different on your birth certificate or on your driver's license. You know,
Sonny Houston knows a lot of different people.
I am having a very violent reaction to this female.
Don't. There's no reason to. She's the dumbest of the dumb. Do not give her that power, Roseanne. Do not.
No, the reason.
The power of Christ compels you.
There are people who take this swill as bond.
Yeah, exactly. No, let me finish playing.
Yes. So really the bottom line is voter suppression.
Yeah, so she says, yes, it's voter suppression. Now, this is a video that I play all the time, folks. You guys know it, and you love this video. I have to play it. Our good friend, Ami Horowitz, he was out in Berkeley, California. You couldn't get more liberal. Yeah, you couldn't get more liberal.
And affluent.
He is on the college campus talking to people, students and faculty, about voter ID laws. And here's what those folks, the white folks, had to say.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and I'm here in Berkeley, California to find out if voter ID laws suppress the black vote. Do you have an opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad.
I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as to say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely. Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to.
Roseanne is always very volatile when that line comes up. These types of people, he's...
What do you mean, you people?
I got to play it again.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
Some people have smartphones, but they might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African American.
You don't even know how. Every time you hear it, no matter what, you just get a reaction, right? Because
every time I hear it, there is more stuff that sticks out every time. First of all, they don't have internet, and all I keep thinking about is that video of the black kid with the computer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, like Kathy Hochul.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they don't have data. What are you talking about?
They're just not aware. That was my favorite one, the young girl. Just not aware.
How do so many poor Negro children make it these days? They're almost as smart as white ones, aren't they?
I can't listen. I listen to it every time. It blows me away that these people, the smartest of the smart, the most educated, these are college-educated folks who, again, it's insanity that they talk about people in the way that they do, having never met them.
But they are so tolerant. So tolerant. When I was growing up, and maybe it's because of the way I was raised, I was a military brat. The one thing that we look forward to, every kid looks forward to, is when they turn 13. Mm-hmm. At 13, you get your first military ID.
Wow.
And you carry that thing everywhere.
It's the most important thing that you can have as an identification for a lot of kids, especially for me when I was growing up.
At 13 years old is the first thing.
Yeah.
I will tell you, the first time I did not have ID was in my first marriage. That was part of the control of that abusive relationship.
Really? You couldn't have that?
I from the age of 18 to 23, I wasn't allowed to have any. I didn't exist on paper.
I rescued you, didn't I?
Yes. Yes, you did.
I got to take a break. We'll be back.
Your cape away.
I'm totally kidding. We'll be back. More news, more views, and the second part of this Ami Horowitz video when we return to Reese on the Radio.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I'll play the other part to the Ami Horowitz piece because, of course, he went to Berkeley to go talk to white people about voting, and then he went to East Harlem to talk to black folks about what he just heard. We'll play it in a second. I got a text message from Donald, and it shows exactly. Never ever tell me, never tell me how to do my show. One, but here's the worst part. First of all, you obviously don't know how this works. So let me explain it to you. Let me tell you what he writes. He says, you're going to mess around and get canceled. That statement about Obama as a homosexual is liable for a lawsuit.
Honey, you don't know how libel works.
Okay, so let's understand this so we get it right. It's acceptable to be homosexual, and we need to normalize.
That's the whole Democrat Party.
Yeah, we need to normalize and no longer stigmatize homosexuality.
That's bullying.
That's always been the issue for liberals in this country. We must normalize it and no longer stigmatize it.
Right.
Someone being gay is not something that we are supposed to shun.
Nobody
We're supposed to accept it.
Gay.
So if I say that a person is gay, that is a slander? I thought it was acceptable to be gay. I've never heard that. So I'm like, which is it? Well, here's why. First of all, Donald is West Indian. And he knows that if he were in like Jamaica or Barbados and somebody made that accusation, it would result in someone's death.
Welcome to America.
Welcome to America.
Right.
We're talking about
First
someone,
Amendment.
and I've never said that Barack Obama was anything. I said that a man alleged that he and Barack Obama engaged in doing cocaine and having sexual intercourse.
If you don't mind, real quick, Donald, just for your own peace of mind there, including the word alleged is the
operative
word.
Yeah, that's the operative word.
So go ahead and Google or Grok or ChatGPT what the libel.
Yeah. And my whole deal is like, look, if we're not supposed to have a problem with it, why are
Then
people?
why is it-
Why is it when you say Barack Obama may be engaged in that behavior, that all of a sudden that's a bridge too far? You can be gay.
Barry Soetoro is a gay white man. Shut up.
Allegedly, it's okay to be gay. It's okay to be gay. Barack Obama may be gay. Blasphemy. It's like what?
It's Barry Soetoro is allegedly a gay white man from Kenya.
Yeah, apparently.
Allegedly.
Here is what black people said about the voter ID laws and their access to the internet via Ami Horowitz.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so like, we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. Like, that's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Look at all of these indigent Negroes with ID.
Looks like they have jobs, too.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's that, on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is around you?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Would you have a problem getting there if you had to get there?
No.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get
Because they are.
to the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
There you have it. Let's get to some weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We are back, and we've got a couple of minutes before we go into traffic and weather again, so stand by for that, because when we return, I'm going to talk about something that's very important, and it sort of goes to the whole Cicero thing. And Aaron, you got to understand, Aaron says, like, here I am giving that guy, what he wants again. Yes, Cicero wants the attention. I get this. I know what it's like to want that kind of attention. And yes, I am giving it to him because it's fun. For me, it's like
the highlight of his day, guys.
Yeah.
Just chill.
It's just something.
He is going to go and have a snacky and take a nap after this. Like the greatest, come on. Let him have it.
Yeah, just let me have it.
Not you.
Oh, no, me. No, I'm talking about me.
Let Sissy Bro have it.
No, it's okay. Anyway, also, I definitely, we're going to talk about this thing in the beginning that sort of relates to Cicero in a second. But this was a great chat room text by Zach. Zach says, I still think Reese pays these people. I refuse to believe they can tie their minds into knots like they do. Dean from the Eanes says, I don't think that at all. No, you should not. I promise you, I do not pay these people to come here and spout some of the stuff they do. I don't. This is them on their own.
Yeah, if you watch any of the Minnesota protesting or the No Kings or the, P where a V should be people, you will hear this. This is...
It's par for the course.
I hate to say organic because there's nothing organic about these people, but it is a natural phenomenon.
And we're going to get into that in the next break because there is a woman she's a scientist. She's well established. She knows her stuff. What's her deal? She studies what?
She has evolutionary biologist.
Right.
And anthropology.
And her name is?
Her name is
Heather.
Heather. You know, you had me do all this research, and I didn't write the woman's name down.
Yeah, Hayer. I think that's her name. In fact, I'm almost certain I have her name here. No, Heather Haying.
Haying. Heather Haying. There she is.
Heather Haying is her name.
We're really planning for this.
Yeah. Shows we're actually doing a lot of like setting up. Yeah, Heather Haying. You do not want to miss this in the next break because it really breaks down who these people are and how our society is accommodating them. It's a frightening turn of events in our society. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back with it. In the meantime, let's get to Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We are back. Reese on the radio, Roseanne on the radio are here. Do some research. Obama never wrote that he was born in Kenya. That was written in a promotional pamphlet by Obama's literary agent in Era. In 1995, Barack Obama had a literary agent, I'm being told. Really?
What was he doing in 95?
Well, I'm just saying, a literary agent?
For what?
For his first book in 1995.
After college?
Yeah.
He wrote a book after for what?
And he had a literary agent.
Stand by.
Yeah, just go look that up. Yeah. By the way, Roseanne, while you're looking it up, can I tell you something real quick?
Sure.
Can you look at me real quick? I just want to see your face. Okay. He doesn't know that Obama never had a literary agent. I already know that story.
Oh, okay.
That he's looking up. I already know the story. Anyway, don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Shh. Anyway, moving on.
Really weird.
This is the woman I was just talking about. Her name is Dr. Heather Haying. Okay, and she is talking about what has happened in our society when it comes to neurotic people. And they are now taking over the world, and they are everywhere, especially in our news media. The people that you're seeing out in places like Minneapolis or in Minnesota are people who are taking their own neurosis and forcing it out into the world. And that's what Dr. Heather is saying here. But I want you to hear this for yourself, because I want you to think about this and all the stories we've covered with these lunatics out in the street, like bearing their soul, putting themselves in harm's way. Listen to this.
We have placed the neuroses of women front and center in the American consciousness. And that doesn't mean that we've placed women's interests front and center. Far, far, far from it. We have placed the neuroses of women who are interested in being vocal and active front and center, and allowed those neuroses to triumph over reality. And my line of evidence here is this piece. On page 60 of this Atlantic issue from 2 years ago, predicting what would happen if Trump wins, it's called The Psychic Toll by Jennifer Senior. There were times during the first 2 years of the Biden presidency when I came close to forgetting about it all. The taunts and the provocations, the incitements and the resentments, the disorchestrated reasoning, the verbal incontinence, the press conferences fueled by megalomania, vengeance, and a soupçon of hydroxychloroquine. I forgot almost that we'd had a man in the White House who governed by tweet. I forgot that the news cycle had shrunk down to microseconds. I forgot even that we'd had a president with a personality so disordered and a mind so dysregulated, this being a central irony, that our nation's top executive had zero executive function, that the generals around him had to choose between carrying out presidential orders and upholding the Constitution. I forgot, in short, that I'd spent nearly 5 years scanning the Veld for threats, indulging in the most neurotic form of magical thinking, convinced that my monitoring of Twitter alone was what stood between Trump and national ruin, just as Erica Jong believed that her concentration and vigilance were what kept her flight from plunging into the sea. Say what you want about Joe Biden. He's allowed us to go days at a time without remembering he's there. But now here we are, faced with the prospect of a Trump restoration. We've already seen the cruelty and chaos that having a malignant narcissist in the Oval Office entails. What will happen to the American psyche if he wins again? What will happen if we have to live in fight-or-flight mode for 4 more years and possibly far beyond? This is on you, okay?
Now, she read all of that because that is what the media became in 2024. Writing stories about what would happen to all of us should Donald Trump become president of the United States. And that is the basis of all the hysteria by every one of these people. Remember, I played you the audio of the young woman who said in 2016 when Donald Trump won that she was scared to death that she was going to die.
Yeah.
Remember her? Right? The young woman, Mimi from Kenya. No, Uganda. I apologize. From Uganda, who said she thought she was going to die.
She didn't know how.
She didn't know how.
Why. She just knew she was going to die.
She was going to die. This is what you're talking about. Now, I want to play part 2 of this piece because this woman, again, is a leftist. She is a liberal. She does not like Donald Trump either. And this was her message to everyone, and especially the person who wrote this article in The Atlantic, which is considered not just a progressive newspaper, but it is a progressive newspaper that everyone in the news media follows and reads, right? It's highly regarded in places like Washington. Here's how she responded to it.
Your neurosis is your problem. Neuroticism is more common in women than in men. It's one of the big 5 personality traits, and it's one of the things that is highly sexed. Okay, full disclosure, this is one of many places that I myself am gender nonconforming. I both have extremely low neuroticism and have very little patience for it in other people. So my reaction to this is kind of extreme. I simply have no patience for your bullshit. Your anxiety, your neuroticism is a you problem, not a rest of us problem. Our entire culture has been turned into the neuroses of some women have become the problem of the rest of us. And it's insane. It's just insane. So just the neuroticism is, broadly speaking, having a negative reaction to events as they happen, tending towards negative emotions rather than positive ones. So things like fear, anxiety, anger, and sadness. People high in neuroticism are more likely to have negative interpretations of events, greater difficulty dealing with stress. They're more likely to lash out at others, and conclude that ordinary situations are impossible or untenable. So
this is everyone you experience on the left.
Yeah.
But she breaks it down that it is more common in women. I think she's wrong here. Well, I think that this is absolutely right up the rectal cavity of every liberal man I know.
Why?
Because most of them have been raised by women.
Single mothers. No, that's what I was going to say. I believe that she is right. This is a female trait. This is a female characteristic. In fact, I'm listening to her describe neuroses, and I'm going, oh, crap. That might be me. It's definitely. I definitely am very gender conforming in this regard, right? But then I start to think about a lot of the men that I've encountered in the world in my 40-some-odd years, you by far being not. The only other person I know not would be my stepdad, right? Everything is based on how it makes me feel. I had a visceral reaction to this thing. That's offensive. Well, we're hurting their feelings. It's embarrassing. We should be Why? Because Karen down the block was like, oh my God, like that's so offensive. And now everybody has to be offended because Karen can't, walk around in a 2-piece because she weighs 700 pounds. Like, it's not offensive, Karen. Put the bagel down. Do a sit-up. I shouldn't have to change the way that I talk, the way that I walk, the way that I behave, the jokes that I tell, or the things that I find funny because Karen with the 700-pound bikini and the bagel eating problem is offended.
Now, this is important. Let's finish this up.
She's raised all of her boys
to be exactly like her.
Exactly the same way, with their fingers up their noses, bagels in their mouths, and they're hiding in a basement playing video games, screaming about how much they hate women. That's the reason why.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Of course, women who are on average higher in neuroticism are going to be more likely to view what they already see as a negative as world ending. The sky is falling. But it's in their power, your power. You are the individual who's experiencing this. It is in your power to reframe your response to it. And that doesn't mean that you may not want to make change in the world, but your neuroticism, enough that it actually shows up in the Atlantic's issue about what will happen if Trump wins, we're all going to have a psychic toll. We're all going to be neurotic. No, we're not. even those of us who are displeased with what is playing out and don't like a lot of what is happening, can do so without the anxiety and the fear and the anger and the, frankly, insanity that you are inflicting on the rest of us. You aren't allowed to make a you problem and our problem, and yet you're doing it. And it is our, not just right, but our responsibility to resist your neuroticism from taking over more.
And that's the problem.
Right.
And
there's no more shame.
Yeah.
If we shamed people into conforming and behaving properly, then we wouldn't have this female dog problem.
Exactly. The neuroticism, right, exactly. I mean, in and of itself, I see this and hear this and I go, well, I've already known this about women.
But now you have concrete evidence that establishes why it's so pervasive in men.
Yes. And again, as I'm looking at these guys, and look, I hate to bring up a really, really touchy subject to a lot of people on the left, but I looked at a perfect example, Alex Preddy, the man who was shot the last guy who was shot and killed by ICE. And I look at that video of him when he was kicking the taillight of that ICE vehicle, the spitting, the screaming, the hollering.
I've seen 3-year-olds in a daycare do that.
Exactly. Everything about that behavior, again, is what I'm talking about. He doesn't even know what the issue is. He doesn't know why ICE is there. He just knows that he is upset and he is angry at what only described as a vest that says the word ICE. There is nothing about that is reasonable in his eyes. He is just a violent person at the time who wishes to spit and kick. That is neurotic. A behavior to have against another human being. That you see them. You don't understand that is a human being behind those masks and behind that uniform.
Well, I think when you combine that with the premise that now these face-pierced metal, purple-haired people are denying the biology of human being of these people. Like, these are not human beings. We should kill them.
Right.
These people have a problem with biology across the board.
Well, that may be very well be true.
If you can take a 3-year-old and tell it, you know what, that gingerbread man isn't a real person, you can eat its head.
Yeah.
The 3-year-old will bite the gingerbread man's head, right?
Yeah.
It's delicious. Yummy cookie.
Right.
And that's how that's what we're seeing happening is you got these 3-year-olds running around seeing these ICE officers as not human. Therefore, we can bite off their heads and there's no consequence.
Exactly. We can behave anyway. And should they respond to said neurotic behavior, that's like, I'm the person here who's aggrieved. What are you doing?
Never told me no.
It's insane.
You can tell me no.
Let's take one call. Gio in Canton is on the line. How we doing, Gio?
I'm well, enjoying my warm car. How are you guys?
Doing good.
What's up, buddy?
So I hear neuroticism is brought up, and then Alex Preddy was into it. Why wasn't he detained the first time when he was kicking the lights and everything?
Such a great point. I keep saying that he wasn't arrested, and according to most people, I don't think it's been confirmed, he did have a weapon on him as he was engaging with officers. It is not clear whether or not he presented identification or proof that he could be armed. So we don't know the length of that altercation, other than the fact that they had to bring him down to the ground, after he physically assaults their vehicle.
Yeah, no, that's found a little funny because I feel like he acted a little bit more aggressive the first time around.
Clearly,
the second time, according to the video. And I just thought it was a little weird on my end. That might just be my liberal
But, Gio, let me ask you this. Hold on. It's a reasonable question. Let me ask you this, right? Because I want you to look at this in timeline sense, right?
Yep.
It's his second altercation that he ends up shot, both of which are caught on video.
Yes.
The aggressive nature of Alex Preddy compared, like, first interaction. I mean, when I say first interaction, first one we saw, the first one that happened chronologically. The first altercation versus the second altercation that ended in his death. If I am to compare the violence in which Alex Preddy was behaving, I would say if there was going to be a shooting, the first altercation would have more reasonably led to a shooting as opposed to the second. Yes?
Yeah, I wouldn't say reasonable, but I could see the danger of life, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, you look at both of the videos. The second video, he didn't really brandish his weapon. It was taken from him by one of the ICE officers. And then,
but I'm looking at it from the level of violence that is taking place between and the officers.
There was most definitely more violence in that first video than the second one.
Exactly.
That's why I find it funny that he wasn't detained the first time.
Yeah. So there's a difference between the destruction of government property, which is a crime, but it's in the grand scheme of things considered a very low level crime.
Right.
A taillight can be repaired, right? And compare that to brandishing a firearm while involved. Brandon having the firearm in his hand, whether you believe it or not, is considered brandishing. If you can look up the Minnesota State Code, it's in the Minnesota State Code. It is also federal regulation that if you are holding or show your weapon to a federal law enforcement officer, that is considered brandishing. So the difference between property destruction and brandishing a firearm while engaged in an altercation with law enforcement are very different crimes, right? Mm-hmm. There was a pattern of escalation.
Right.
Destruction of property all the way up to now I'm emboldened, and whether I have it in my hand, you see it on my person, I am engaged in a physical, aggressive act with law enforcement, and my weapon becomes visible somehow.
Yeah. And I totally understand.
Not from pulling it out, because I thought I saw a couple of perspectives of it, and I didn't see him necessarily take out his weapon from his holster. What I remember seeing was when he was put down, an officer had taken it out of his holster, and then the shots were fired.
There are videos of it in his hand.
But again, that's a whole different objective.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody has a different perspective on it. But Gio, what I want to say is before.
Well, Gio, hold on for me real quick. I'm going to put you on hold because I got to go to a hard break here. But stand by. Let me get to that in a second. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back, and let me get Gio back on the line real quick for a couple of minutes to finish out his point. Gio, what was the point that you wanted to make before we had to stop?
I just wanted to say that the crime that Alex Petty had committed would have at least sent him to jail. I don't think that what he deserved was death.
Yeah, and I think I don't think there's one person who's ever said that. I don't think, in fact, that's never been said at all. Same case with Nicole. Renee Good. Sorry, Renee Good. Nicole is her middle name. That's never been the case either.
Can you read my writing?
Like, no one, I can't. No, what happened to him, he didn't deserve to die. But as I said, the actions of both of those individuals, I equated to a tightrope over the Grand Canyon. They both know they shouldn't have been there. They had lives, they have families, and they have to be responsible for their own safety. And they weren't on those days.
They shouldn't have to fear for their lives, though.
No. Ho. Obviously, neither of them feared for their life, Gio, because why would they?
They wouldn't be in that situation.
Thank you. If they feared for their lives, if they thought that ICE was a threat, one that would cost them their lives, they wouldn't be there. Just like you have never put yourself in that kind of position.
Yeah, but what I get at from saying that is that it kind of sends a message like that to other U.S. citizens that, if you put yourself in a federal, a quote-unquote obstructing a federal investigation, you now have the possibility of dying.
Well, that's the case. That's the case with regular law enforcement. If you were to impede, no. That is a fact. If you get involved,
the whole BLM thing about this. That's not necessarily
That's the whole
true.
thing.
You can record on a public sidewalk that's covered.
Recording. No. You were talking about two different things now. Now you're talking about two different things. No, Nicole, Renee, hold on. Renee was not recording. Her wife was. And Alex Petty wasn't recording at all. Other people were.
The second time he wasn't recording?
No,
he had a camera out.
No. He had first of all, he had his camera out, but did he impede officers in any way? Did he get physical with them?
He stood over one lady.
But
did
he get physical?
That lady is talking about. Well, she came out and she's telling a very different story than what everybody else is trying to say Preddy was doing in regard to her. So,
I mean, the bottom line is that you are getting a physical, and you wouldn't do that with a cop. People know better. And I would put it this way, the same way I said to, someone very close to me was saying this about defending Alex Preddy. I'll say this to you, Gio. Would you have been telling your son, go be like Alex Preddy, knowing what the results were?
It depends. If I was my sister, that was being pushed out by federal officers.
No. That's not what I asked you. Would you be encouraging your son to be like Alex Preddy and give his life?
Again, I don't know what his thought process was.
It's a simple yes or no.
It's a yes or no.
I got to take a break. I got to go. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you, man.
My answer would be no.
Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this. It's Reese on the radio. Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Like what we like to say around here, or at least I like to say privately, is don't test me. Never do. I know they try, but don't. So when I made the claim about Barack Obama in the book, and he wrote in 1995, you showed me something that you looked up on Grok, and we really like Grok. We rely on Grok because it sources plenty of people. It's not like Google where they put the search that they want you to have on the top. This actually will search what you're looking for and will go extensively.
Right. I have my Grok set up.
Yeah.
No political spin, no BS.
All facts.
Straight facts, and preferably chronologically.
Right.
Those are my preferences for.
Right. So when I brought up the book, Dreams from My Father, you looked it up to make sure, and you were nervous. You were like, no, a literary agent, he's right. They did say that she made a mistake in the book. And I went, yeah, I'm well aware of this so-called literary agent. But as I always tell people, research is not for the
faint of
heart,
or
the lazy. So, just so you understand, the literary agent in question is a woman by the name of Miriam Goddrich. She was an assistant in Acton and Distell at the time, and later became a partner at the successor firm Distell and Goddard. She became publicly known in May of 2012. The book was written in 1995. Why did she become publicly known in 2012? When Breitbart published the story about the 1991 promotional insert that I just showed you on the screen, where Barack Obama was born in Kenya, raised in Indonesia and Hawaii. That promotional liner stayed as Barack Obama's promotional liner even after he became a senator in Illinois. It was not changed until, wait for it, May 17th. Of 2012.
17 years.
It sat there. No one changed it. No one updated it.
So are we
as he became in part of public life?
So we're
it just
all
sat
supposed
there.
to believe that for 17 years nobody went, oh yeah, we should probably change this.
Yes, exactly.
What happened in 2012 that made them decide to go ahead and change it?
Very simple. He was running for re-election, and the story came up again.
Oh.
And they had left it there. But again, it's something anybody could have corrected. It sat there in 1991. It printed again in 1995 before the book came out. The book came out, and no one touched it. It sat there, born in Kenya. All that time until it became an issue when Donald Trump mentioned it in 2012. And by the way, even when Hillary Clinton mentioned it during the 2008 primary, nobody over at the publishing house changed it.
Wow.
It sat there. No one even brought it up. So again, if it was a literary mistake and she knew it was a mistake, she remembered the mistake she made
12 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean...
Now, to the other thing that I want to address. Donald said that you better be careful not to get canceled saying that Barack Obama is a homosexual because that's just the wrong thing to do. I'm paraphrasing here. Roseanne, Apparently, Barack Obama wrote a letter to a girlfriend.
Yeah. Donald, honey, I need you to go ahead and go to the Emory University's Stuart A. Rose Manuscript Archives and Rare Books Library.
And Barack Obama wrote a letter to a girlfriend.
It's in this particular forum that I just told you to go look at from November of 1982 when Barack Obama was 21.
What did he write?
He wrote to his ex-girlfriend, Alex McNear.
She wrote this, by the way. There was a book that came out that actually looked at his relationships with women, and they found this book in its archives, written, again, by Barack Obama, also, as I mentioned, about his liner, which they're trying to tell me they wrote for him. But what did Barack Obama write to his ex-girlfriend?
In regard to homosexuality, I must say that I believe this is an attempt to remove oneself from the present, a refusal, perhaps, to perpetuate the endless farce of earthly life. You see, I make love to men daily, but in the imagination. My mind is androgynous to a great extent, and I hope to make it more so until I can think in terms of people, not women, as opposed to men.
Barack Hussein Obama, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me.
Can I just say, this was news to me.
Oh, you didn't know about this?
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
I loved Obama. Are you kidding me? I just thought he was the greatest things. Messiah was a stretch. I mean, even before I became a Christian, I was like, even I know that's blasphemy, right? But I really did enjoy a lot of what Barack Obama did.
Okay. Hey, look, that's fine.
And it was the way that he spoke. I thought he was quite eloquent. He was loquacious. He wasn't bombastic.
Yeah. Yeah, like Trump is. I totally get that. Get that. But anyway, I just wanted to clear the air. Nobody get mad.
And I gave the reference. That's what you do when you are stating facts, is you provide a citation. So that's what I did.
So everybody knows it. Look, I try really, really hard. I know that's, again, it's my job. It's just my job. Okay. And this is something I say all the time. If I tell you I know something like the back of my hand, like if I know something better than I know my own birth date, don't test me.
I'm not going to lie. That's really freaking annoying, but it's the truth. God, it makes me so angry.
Why?
Because how do I win an argument with you when you remember crap? That's not fair to me. It's not fair to me.
Everett. Let's go to Everett in East Hartford. How are you, sir? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Hello, Roseanne. Nice to talk to you.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, the last caller, you were talking about the people that lost their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, they're adults. They knew what the potential was. I mean, you don't go up on a 20-story building and walk on the edge of the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you might be able to get away with it, but you know your chances of falling off are pretty great.
Yeah.
So why put yourself in that position?
Everett, do you remember what I said a couple of weeks ago about liberals? If they could perform a magic trick, their best trick would be making personal responsibility disappear.
Yeah,
that's all Gio's talking about.
Yeah, and I was talking to my friend at work, and I was saying, I said, when you wake up in the morning, you're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get woken up by a big noise, you don't know what's going on, and you're disorientated.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they came up with woke.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think that I think what every one of these folks are right now is whatever your grievance is, it must be rectified. It must be addressed. And it is this culture of the aggrieved. The grievance industry has actually gone to people's personal lives now. That's where it is. Because there used to be an industry, a cottage industry, that guys like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, they made millions of dollars off of. Now everybody's in on the act. You mean to tell me I can get money from being aggrieved? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, everybody's a victim. Nobody's ever taught to stand up. Take responsibility, actually maybe do something for yourself, get an education, maybe get a different group of friends.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have different options. And, again, you're an adult, or you should be an adult.
Yeah, and take responsibility. That's it. That's just the way it goes. The rest of us have to. And so you have to, too. And I think that this whole thing of sort of like, trying to shirk your own responsibility of being a good person is just not going to fly anymore.
Yeah, well, and again, it kind of ties in with the liberals that talk about all the poor this, the poor that. Yeah. They're trying to make themselves important.
Yeah, that's also true.
That has nothing to do whether they stand up for gays or black. Or
yeah,
whatever.
Exactly. 100% true.
They did something.
You're absolutely right. Thank you, Everett. I appreciate you, man. Welcome back.
All right.
You got it. I want to read this. This is funny. Now, again, after all of that talk about the homosexuality, right? It was wrong. It was canceled. All of a sudden, I get this. You make a living tearing black people down.
Yes.
What? What did I do?
Listen. Here's the answer. Donald, you're right. You're right. You are right. We hate black people so much.
Why wasn't
it? We do everything we can to remove the mask and the goggles of victimhood.
What? No. Here's what I'm trying to understand. You're going to mess around and get canceled. That statement about Obama as a homosexual is liable for a lawsuit. So then I read his actual statements and it turns into you make a living into tearing people down. Where's your apology? I apologize for accusing you of libel. How about that? How about, I didn't know that. My apologies for accusing you of lying on the man. Mm-hmm. I didn't say a thing. All I did was present his own evidence, which again, and here's where it is. And this is why I try to tell, I want to make sense. This is where liberals always end up with me. You can do whatever you want with the rest of these folks. Okay? But when you and this is the reason why you'll never, ever go toe-to-toe with me. You want to know why? Because you fail miserably. And you know it. It's embarrassing. You know it's embarrassing. And I love embarrassing you. I would sooner just say, stop, shh, be quiet.
Put the shovel down.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Just be quiet. Okay? And learn something. Because all that was an admission of you didn't know what you were talking about. You did not know because you are not researched. You are intellectually lazy. That's why I try to tell the conservatives who listen to this show. There is nothing to debate with these folks because the facts matter and they don't matter to them. So all you have to do, and again, trying to convince people is not your job. You already know what the truth is, right? So why argue with them? I don't. I present the facts. I don't have to argue. I know what the facts are. Not trying to convince them. They will be addressed. They'll be addressed with the facts. And when they are, guess what happens? They get embarrassed, and I move on.
How dare you confront him with facts?
I know. I'm the bad guy.
That is racist. That's racism. Math is racist. Facts are racist. History it's all racist. How dare you?
Let's go to Doc. Doc's on the line. How are you, Doc? Doc, you there?
I'm here.
Hey, what's going on, sir?
Well, other than trying to do some work and talk at the same time, not much. Okay. One observation. Why is it certain people do not have the capability of answering yes or no questions?
You said, how come people...
It's cognitive dissonance.
Yes. There you go.
Once they're presented with the facts that go completely against everything that they know to believe and is true, but yet they're arguing against what they know to be true for themselves personally, since they can't back it up with fact, it is now a matter of finding every way to distract from the question, right? Well, it depends. No, it's a yes or no question. Is your name Bob? Well, it depends. No. Is it Bob? Is it not Bob? It's cognitive dissonance.
I understand what you're saying. And it's not just the yes or no questions. It's things that, what is a woman?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. And really it comes down to, as Mark Twain said, it's impossible to argue with a fool because from a distance, nobody knows the difference.
That's right. It's very true.
It's very true.
And that's the reason why, like I said, stop arguing with them. Your problem is always going to be trying to convince someone who is so smart that they cannot be convinced. And that's where that is.
At the end, I say, those of you who think you are the smartest person in the world are very annoying to those of us who are.
Yeah. I still love that quote. I love it every time I hear it. I got to take a break, Doc, but I appreciate you, sir.
Take care.
Thank you, man. He's 100% right. But again, like I said, why would I? Again, I don't have to argue. These guys are the fumbling and the bumbling to go do the research in real time is not knowing anything.
You want me to Google all by myself?
Let's get another check of traffic and weather.
Racist.
Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. How we doing, bud?
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah, we are back. You know what time it is. News. It's the only thing I can come up with. News.
We're going to have to work on that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to work on it. It's the corniest thing I could possibly think of. My favorite person is in the news today only because, well, not you, is in music news today. And the reason why is because there is really a fever pitch to get this woman to actually put her money where her mouth is.
First of all, isn't that ironic? Massive gates keeping people out. I thought Billy didn't believe in borders. Well, according to the driveway, Billy does believe in borders. She believes in massive gates keeping people out. A couple of cameras up there as well. The lights are on, so somebody must be home. Let us in, please, Billy. We are here because this is stolen land, Billy, and we think we should be given access to your quite lovely $3 million mansion. And such is Billy's concern for security and privacy. It's surrounded by pretty decent security fencing. Very nice indeed. Massive security hedges as well.
Her privacy.
You know what just came to mind?
What just came to your mind?
I'm the bad guy.
Yes, she is. Duh. She is the bad guy. It was the dumbest thing ever for her to do this and not have, you know what? One of the things you used to say all the time to the kids was situational awareness. And I'm going, you get so caught up in everybody's doing the thing. These are the actions of a child. They're all up there saying ice out, so I'm going to say it too. In that one moment, that crowning achievement of getting a Grammy, up there with your brother, who, by the way, is a deer in headlights.
Who's her brother?
Her brother is the one who produced the song.
person.
That was the brother, yeah.
Right.
And he's sitting there and he's just like, what in the hell are we doing up here? What are you talking about?
She's from L.A.
Yeah.
She lives in L.A.
Yeah.
What is she even talking
I
about?
don't know, but again,
stolen land.
and it's like, I'm so glad
Give
that
it back.
people are holding her feet to the fire and saying, Billy, you cannot say this and not give up your the ancestral land of indigenous people. You can't. There's no way anyone's going to let you fly. I know that you're hoping that things are going to die down, but it's not. And I want people to keep putting the pressure on her.
Her ethnic descendants are Irish and Scottish.
Yes, absolutely. You couldn't be more white. She's got to give it up. Let's take another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're back. Reese on the radio, Roseanne on the radio. We should be getting a call from Betsy McCoy in a minute. I know she's out there running around, so as soon as she comes on the line, we'll jump to her. I was thinking in the background about that whole, Barack Obama writing a letter to his girlfriend about dreaming about being with a man, and I was thinking of that song, "Okay, Dreamer." I'm like, what? It's not offensive. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, you know where my head went because this is how old I am?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, you're talking about Phoebe with the Tony Danza?
No.
You're going to have to remember it.
SNL guys, black hair, blonde hair.
Oh.
Queen.
Nope.
Why am I drawing a blank?
I don't know.
You know the movie.
Oh, no, it's not coming to me. Let me get to Jerry, who's calling in from Columbia. How are you, Jerry?
Reach, you dastardly fat. I had about 4 topics until
till your beautiful bride read that letter. Now I'm all gone. It's shot.
Man. People keep forgetting. You know what? Let me tell you a little backstory to this, Jerry. This is the crazy part.
Go for it.
Why is it that people forgot that Reese on the radio brought this up? When Pastor Will did middays here on WTIC, I used to do Wednesdays with him. Remember that?
Yes, absolutely.
And I brought it up to Pastor Will, and even Pastor Will said, do you think there's going to be anything much made about it? I said, there will be, and it was for a little while. People talked about it. But it's almost like people forgot that it ever happened. And he never, Obama never denied it and never addressed it, and no one would ask him about it, which I thought was wrong, because this is the guy who came out openly in front of Robin Roberts and said, I support gay marriage in this country. Newsweek put him on the cover of their magazine and called him the first gay president.
Yeah, but didn't he only say that because Joe Biden
Joe Biden
him into, you think Joe knew?
No, but Joe Biden stole his thunder on Meet the Press with Tim Russert and mentioned it, which forced Obama's hand, and that's why he called Robin Roberts to Washington to do that interview, saying that he will affirm. After he had affirmed that marriage was between a man and a woman, he then turned around and said, I believe that, it should be, allowed under our Constitution, and then he got $90 million for his campaign.
I think everybody should be equally miserable.
About Joe Biden because he couldn't remember anything for more than 5 seconds without a teleprompter.
Yeah.
But if I could go back quickly to that Geo,
Geo? Yeah.
Geo. And you and I both know that we could be his best friend and his worst enemy in a matter of seconds.
Right.
By just saying, how could you possibly try and do your job with any what's the word I'm looking for? Do it well.
Right.
If somebody's banging a garbage can lid in front of your face and spitting on you and calling your names and stuff like that. The one thing, Roseanne, I would love to ask you, because the gentleman that was taken down, unfortunately, by Homeland Security, the day before when he kicked that taillight out.
Yeah. Well, it was actually a little more than a week before.
He's talking to me.
Because the majority of ICE and Homeland Security are former military.
Yes.
Why wasn't he arrested on the spot? And something was brought up on MSNBC that said one of the reasons that they're not arresting them is because the police are letting them go the next day.
Right.
Right. I think there's several reasons why he wasn't arrested. One of which is, yes, law enforcement is just releasing them within minutes, if not the next day.
Yeah.
But the other thing, too, is I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not the officers. None of us know why, right? All we can do is speculate. And unfortunately, I think speculation does the whole situation a great disservice. I think what really needs to be focused on is the steady escalation in his behavior, which led to the ultimate
absolutely.
ending. And that's I try to discuss this with the lawyer friend, and he says, well, he didn't deserve to die. No, he didn't deserve to die.
No, he didn't.
But there's an established pattern of behavior, and if you read letters or statements from his ex-wife and his college friends and some of his coworkers, this was not a nice person.
Yeah, I didn't deserve to stub my toe. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what that argument is about. It's like no one is suggesting, and again, that's a straw man argument. He didn't deserve to die. No one is saying that.
Epstein did not necessarily deserve to die. People may agree or disagree. However, that is still a human being that was entitled to some level of criminal justice. Right.
Exactly. Due process.
And when that doesn't happen, the death now becomes what's the word I'm looking for? Unnecessary because the ultimate facts are not reached. We don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway. Thank you. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
No problem, Reese. Take care. Too many subjects.
Yeah, exactly. Understood. Hey, let's get directly into this because she is just coming off of a speech recently. Betsy McCoy is joining us on the line. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I am so glad to be talking with you. I was up in Hartford today for Moneybags Lamont State of the State address, and it was such an insult to our intelligence. He He announced that he's spending $18.7 million more than he already has permission to spend.
Right.
And what is he spending it on? He said, the harsh cuts, that's the word he used, harsh cuts in the federal budget mean that we have to spend $18.7 million on benefits for illegals.
Yep.
And benefits for couch potato moochers who want to be on welfare, even though they are able-bodied, have no dependents. They refuse to work. Listen to this, Reese. The federal law says to get these benefits, they have to work, volunteer, go to school, or be in addiction treatment 20 hours a week. Whoever heard of 20 hours a week? You and I work much more than 40 hours a week. Right? To
Lord knows I do.
But isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. I went over this speech in so many ways. The thing that is, it's absolutely like astronomical in all of this. And Betsy, I said it earlier, and I know you're going to do this, so I don't even have to give you this idea. Roseanne and I went to a couple of diners and restaurants this morning before we got to the station, and we asked people who work tips or overtime, asking them about this $200 gift that, Lamont is supposed to be giving them.
Which is probably taxable.
Yeah. Giving them this $200 for single folks, $400, as a payback for the high cost of electricity bills. What would they rather have? A break on their on taxes for their tips and overtime, or collect this $200 or maybe $400? And they all said, it's the most ridiculous thing in the world to hand us this $200. It's pennies.
It's a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face. And you know what the best affordability plan is? A good job and a growing paycheck. Yeah. That's what people in this state deserve. But they're not going to get it with Lamont because he refuses to compete with the other states. When I'm governor, I'm going to eliminate the income tax, and Connecticut will be the tax haven of the Northeast.
I love it.
Tax haven of the Northeast. It will be Florida without the palm trees. All the companies will move in here, and everybody will have good jobs.
Now, you know that, and I know your folks, if not you, were listening. Last week we had Ryan Fazio. Was it last week or this week? I think it was last week. Yeah, we had Ryan Fazio on, and we asked him whether or not we would do an 11th Commandment debate with you, Aaron Stewart, and Ryan Fazio. He committed, and I know that you called in during the show saying that you would absolutely be a part of it. Can we get you on the record here?
Absolutely. I can hardly wait. Yes, I am definitely going to be part of that debate. It will be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And now, listen, you will agree, like what I'm trying to do here, and I'm trying to lay this out for everybody, this is not about mudslinging. I believe that this is an opportunity for all three of you to get together to make your case to the nutmeggers and tell them what you wish to do as governor of this state. Because there are some people and they're on my screen every day in the chat room going, I like Ryan, but I like Betsy. I kind of like Aaron. They're going, and they don't know where to go. This is a great opportunity for them, no?
Absolutely. We're all going to be able to talk. I did a couple of photo ops with Ryan today. Mm-hmm. We had a lovely time at the Capitol. And as I said, they're both fine people. So I'm looking forward to this debate. This is a chance for all of us to air our views on how to defeat money bags. That's the key.
That's right.
That's the key. We've got to get them out of there.
And show our unity as a Republican Party.
Right.
To show that we can all work together and come up against what is absolutely destroying this state and forcing people out. A unified front. A unification we have not seen in years here in Connecticut.
Yes. And maximum turnout.
Yes.
Maximum. This isn't an election. This is a tax revolution.
Absolutely.
That's what it has to be.
Go ahead, Roseanne.
1776 all over again.
Exactly. Roseanne had a question.
I've got a statement then a question. So today while we were out at these locations, the one thing that I heard over and over again was, yeah, I keep voting, but then I realize I've been lied to. So obviously they keep voting for Lamont. The other problem is that nobody knows who their Republican candidates are. And I'm wondering, how do we get you and Ryan and Aaron in front of people. I mean, grassroots. At diners, at restaurants, at Target, at Walmart, the Dollar General, so that normal, everyday nutmeggers can meet each of you and not just hear what you have to say when you're, debating or when you're, promoting
on WFSB or TNA.
We want to hear you.
You know what? I already made posters. I said to my little team, and we are a little team, I'm going to set up card tables outside the supermarkets when it gets a little warmer.
Yeah.
That's where you really have a chance to talk to people.
Yeah.
Everybody has to go shopping for food. A lot of people have given up shopping for anything else. They do it all online.
Right.
So I'd have to climb into their bed at night to really talk to them while they're shopping. But food shopping, everybody does. And so I'll be out at the supermarkets this spring.
Look at that. I love it. Betsy, thank you. We appreciate you being a part of this. We are, we've got a date. We haven't announced it yet to anyone, but we're going to let your folks know we have a date and we're working on the venue. The venue should not be hard, but it will be, of course, near the Hartford area, but we'll fill you in. But we thank you for at least telling us that you will be a part of this thing. We're going to think it's going to be great for WTIC. It's going to be fantastic for the candidates.
Can hardly wait. And in the meantime, we have to send a warning now. If you are in this country illegally and you are in Connecticut, get ready, because on January 1st, the spigot is turned off. No more benefits. Get out.
Wow. Damn. Okay. Thank you, Betsy. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You got it. Betsy McCoy, ladies and gentlemen.
She is
a lot of
fire.
people like her. A lot of people do. I think, look.
She is fire.
There's a thing that I say, and again, just so everybody's clear, because I know Ryan and I know Aaron and I know their team listens. Hear me out, okay? It's nothing against anybody else. I'm a baseball bat kind of guy. It just am. I'm sorry. It just is. Everybody knows my style here. And Betsy caters to that a little bit, because she's got that,
fire.
that sort of that fire.
Yeah.
Erin has got it too in her own way, and Ryan, he's so poised. He's kind of a wonk and very poised.
He's very
right
poised.
and very poised.
Yeah.
He's got a style that's different from me. Me, like I said, I'm a bull in a china shop kind of guy. I just am. So it's not that these guys don't appeal to me. I think that they're all capable of doing this. As Rush used to say when we look at the candidates on the Republican side, I may have my guy or my gal, so to speak, but everybody on this dais is capable of doing the job better than the current administration. And that is bar none the truth.
Absolutely.
So that's the way that I look at it. Thank you, folks. I've seen a lot of people talking about Betsy, saying they really enjoy her. Fritz says, tell her to go to Aldi. I will get her to go to Aldi as well. By the way, people are saying that the movie you were talking about was Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. I found it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Wayne's World. What reference were you making?
Dreamweaver.
Oh, yeah.
The scene where he sees the girl and he's like, swing. And
Yes,
he's like,
that thing. So when I said gay dreamer, that's you were thinking of? Okay.
I just swing. And in my mind, it was Barry.
Yes.
Sotoro. Walking toward a dude.
That's
Michael. Michael.
Don't be mad at me.
His name is Michael.
Don't be mad at me. Well, the guy?
It's Barry swing walking toward a guy.
Yes.
Named Michael.
Yeah. Oh, that's not nice. Stop that. Stop it.
Good grief.
It's not nice. I won't accept it. You're just not. People are very mean-spirited about that.
You love me.
I know this is true, but it's still mean. It is mean. It's mean. Anyway, time to go. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. We'll be back. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. You are awful, Roseanne. Awful person.
Wow. The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
I forgot to put on the microphone. Anyway, so right now I'm talking to a couple of people who are sending me all of these text messages. So we are working on Linda McMahon for Friday. I thought that was confirmed, but I do not have that confirmed yet. Hopefully her people will get back in touch with me before that. We've got Thursday, so hopefully we'll know something tomorrow. She, I think, is in Greenwich if she's not back in D.C. already because they canceled her Fairfield visit at McKinley. So we did reach out and say, hey, if you'd love to be on the show, we'd have you. Our folks are like, yes, of course, but they're working that out. Also, I'm now talking to someone about having Mike Davis from the Article 3 Project on the show. He gets inundated a lot with platforms that wish to talk to him. So, if possible, we may be able to get him on next week at his convenience. We can get him on the phone. So he's always between D.C. and Colorado. But we'd love to have him on as well. And we're working on one very, very big guest that I would love to sit down and talk to for a little while. I'm not going to mention his name yet. I'll just say that he is very well liked in Connecticut and of people of this show who is also in the business. And let me just say, to give you a hint.
It's me.
No, it's not you. Oh. To give you a hint of who it is, he is a political pundit who used to work in Hollywood. That's all I'll say. Just leave it at that. Okay?
Michael Moore.
No.
I'm kidding.
No.
Billie Eilish.
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. By the way, when we come back, I want to address this homeschooling thing because there was something that was said that is really, really crazy. And I'm setting the stage for this because what may very well happen is homeschooling is going to be affected by this new bill that they're trying to write for homeschooling. Now, this whole thing about if the parent has been involved in a DCF investigation, they're not going to allow homeschooling for that. I'm up in the air on that one, but there's something else that they want to propose in the new legislation, and that's where I have a problem. So we've got audio of that. I'm going to play it for you in a bit, so stand by for that. It should be an interesting conversation that we may have to extend to tomorrow. Okay? So we'll get into that. Now let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher, he is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're about to get up out of here. And, Roseanne, you're right. I can't talk about this homeschooling thing at the end of the show. It's something we've got to spend a lot of time on.
Yeah, there's a lot in there that a lot of things that were said that even I'm looking at going, that it really diminishes the reason and the efficacy of homeschool.
I think the part that scares me the most about it, as far as the government overreach, is what Martin Looney said about what he wants to propose. And I got to play it since I've already teased it. Here's what he said, and this was Mike Cerulli of WTNH talking to Martin Looney about it. This is some of the things. The first thing he said was about someone who's involved with DCF not being allowed to do homeschooling, of course, because we've had the situations with, the young man in Waterbury and, of course, Mimi Torres in Farmington. But here's what he said about that.
What I would like to see us do is have a requirement that any family that's had involvement with DCF not be allowed to withdraw their child from school. And
now that, again, it makes sense. I see that may be something that has to be discussed, because if they were involved in DCF, I would even argue that
there should be safety parameters in
correct.
place.
But if it's a DCF investigation that turns out to be false, I don't think that you should hold that against them. Right? Now, it's something different. It's almost like, somebody levying an accusation against you and then never being allowed to because nothing has been adjudicated.
Right.
An investigation has been held, no wrongdoing, and you then decide to homeschool your children. You shouldn't be. That's a little bit of government overreach, so that's why I said that. But this was the thing that bothered me.
I'd also like to see the parents provide the school district with an annual portfolio of work to show that the child is actually being instructed in the way to cover the subjects that would be covered if you were in school.
In other words, do they adhere to Connecticut's?
Are we making sure that they're getting their transgender sex books, their pornography? Are we making sure that they're being properly Democrat indoctrinated.
Right.
Here's what they're not telling you that they don't like about homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this really cool post. Moms have been homeschooling their children for the first 5 years of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
We teach them everything. What is no longer being taught in schools is showing proof positive, right? We don't sew, we don't cook, we don't clean. Nobody can fix a car. Nobody knows how to do any wood carving. We've lost the whole root words, Latin. We've lost the ability to add, subtract, read, write. So what are you telling me the state can do for me that I can't? I had my son reading by 3.
Yeah.
There was no state legislating how to educate my son by 3.
Mm-hmm. And there's a likelihood that your child will be less of a disciplinary problem in your home as opposed to being in a school where we find plenty of kids are being disciplinary problems.
Right.
So, yeah, there's so much to that. But we need to get into that later on. I want to get the phone calls in here so we can wrap up the show. Let's go to Teresa. Hello, Teresa. How are you?
Hi, Reese. Good. How are you?
I'm good. What's up?
No, I was just calling because I heard what Betsy had to say, and I'm so glad that I was able to hear it because when I first heard her name the other day, I was like, "Who is that?" And then I looked her and then I looked her up online, and I am going tomorrow night to the Republican Town Committee meeting in Enfield, and Ryan Fazio and Matt Corey are both going to be there.
Okay.
And I've heard Ryan on the show, and I've read about him, and he's very interesting. And,
sure.
And I like him. I like all of them. I like Aaron too, but I like them all for different reasons.
Yep.
So Betsy reminded me of my Aunt Lois, and who is I'm sure much older than her, but she sounds like a spitfire, and I think she's gonna bring a lot to the table. So I'm glad that you had her on, so we can at least
And I think that's the point. What I believe that Betsy, and this is again me pulling for no one because I say whoever it is, I'm supporting that person full throated. But what I think Betsy injects into this race is an opportunity for Aaron, if not Ryan, to sort of incorporate her. Whoever, like I said, ends up being a deciding person.
She's going to force people to be more courageous and
yes,
act more boldly.
Exactly. She
does.
really gives them permission to do that and says, you can look at her and say, look at the attention she's getting. And I would almost be inspired to say to one of them, if Connecticut decides that they don't want Betsy, but she's got a considerable chunk of that primary vote or those primary voters, find a way to incorporate Betsy into your campaign because you need it there.
Betsy is inspired.
And that's the unification I'm talking about, is that they can all work together. Of course, go in. They all want to be governor. Go in and have at it. Let the voters decide. But when that decision is made, make sure that every one of them is a part of that campaign. It's not about being number 2 or number 3. This is bigger than all of them.
This is about Connecticut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and she has the experience to impart, and not to mention, and no offense at all, age, that can speak volumes. So
indeed.
I also wanted to mention too. You mentioned the halftime, or I wanted to bring up the halftime show.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Super Bowl. Okay,
the big game.
I'm sorry.
We have to call it the big game.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, sorry.
Honestly, I don't care about the game. I like the commercials like everybody else.
Yeah.
But I was calling because the halftime show is going to be a nightmare.
Horrible Bunny.
I didn't know if exactly. I didn't know if anybody heard that Turning Point USA is sponsoring their own halftime show.
Correct. So Kid Rock and a host of others.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't know. I didn't hear anybody say anything about it. So I just wanted to hear people that were cringing about the other act that's going to be on stage. That there are alternatives, and it sounds like it's going to be good.
I'm expecting to. To be honest with you, I'm not a fan of either music on either side. But as your humble correspondent, I have to watch both.
Well,
So.
I heard Roland say the other day, and I love Roland, and I hope to meet him one day, but I heard him say about he's very talented, and I thought, I don't care how talented.
To each his own. To each his own, Teresa.
So is Jeffrey Dahmer.
Goodbye. Thank you, Teresa.
Take care. Have a good night, guys.
Bye. Good night. Brian is in Bristol. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Reese. I was going to make an attempt here to kind of summarize or paraphrase, I think, an undertone or a thread that's been going through the conversation today.
Yes.
That hopefully will help us to kind of see the dichotomy between the two sides here. And I guess I'll start with a colloquialism I was told probably 40 years ago, and I'll address it to you as your problem is you're a thinking man. and good, that's the response I was open to. And so as such, you rely on facts, and you talked about your research. And you're looking for objective, and I would say many of the listeners here also operate in the objective world.
Indeed.
And we try and we grab our facts and we present those facts. And when we're presented with a fact we don't like that's incongruent with our belief, we may not like it, but we will recognize it, and we will say, okay, we don't like that. Maybe it doesn't fit with what we think, or it's against what it doesn't work in our favor. But we'll recognize it, we'll accept it, and we'll move on.
Right.
The trick I see here is that when we so we're working in that bent, but when we go to the other side, we seem to see that, and I'll make a generalization here, that many people have been indoctrinated on that side to be very objective.
Yes,
and it's how I feel about the situation. And when presented with an inconvenient truth or an inconvenient fact, oftentimes what we see, and we see this in a lot of the social media interactions, what we see is the petulant narcissist erupts.
Indeed.
And we see the tantrum and oh, that doesn't agree with my feelings, and how dare you, and some of the comments that Roseanne made, immediately the insults come, or perhaps violence, and they have to resort to a fact of, oh, that's racist, or that's this, or that's that. And so, I mean, that's very much a petulant behavior of a child.
That is 100% right. Imagine, I always imagine it's not even today. It's not even just being a petulant child. I equate them all the time on here as like it's a toddler with a Molotov cocktail, because they're not just a toddler. They're dangerous. They're dangerous in their view. So that's where it is. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
Right.
You got it. Steven is in Waterbury. Is that Stevie V? What's up, buddy?
It is. Hey, I had a free education. I've been paying for it ever since.
Yep.
Very good point.
Now, you were talking about Turning Point a moment ago.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Cliff Konecki? I may be saying his name wrong.
What's his name?
He's Cliff Konecki.
Not ringing a bell.
He's a pastor in Connecticut.
Okay.
It's a church you may want to check out sometime. You may even want him as a guest on your show or something.
Okay.
But he's been doing basically what Charlie's been doing for like 40 years.
Really?
He's been going to campuses. Yeah, I'll see if I can find it.
Forward me a link, man. You going to send it to me on X?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Send it to me in a separate message in X in the chat room, and I'll grab onto it, and we'll look them up. Okay. We'll be happy to have them on.
Yeah, I'll do that a little bit there.
Okay.
Now, the one thing I wanted to call up, I seen Larson and obviously Chris Murphy talking about the ICE detention centers.
Yeah.
I know I sent you a couple messages on this, but here in Connecticut, we have over 3,500 correction officers, and they're working in prisons that have mold and other things, not to mention there's so many prisoners and stuff. I think they should be really looking in their own backyard.
Yeah.
And not trying to make national news by going after these people. If you ever have a chance to talk to them, or love you to address that with them if you don't mind.
Talking about the condition. Well, we had the ombudsman here. Remember that, Stevie V? We had the ombudsman here. We had Devon Ward on the program talking about his whole audit of the prison systems. There's mold, there's decay, mice, roaches. You know, those incarceration facilities are awful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that, so I didn't know about that.
Yeah, no, we had him here. I brought him on specifically after that report came out.
Cliff Konecki.
Awesome.
I did find him. I've actually been watching his videos. Very, very. Not only is he well versed biblically, but he is intellectually. I mean, his intelligence is
okay. So you know who this guy is.
I've been watching this guy. He filled the hole for me that Charlie Kirk did, but he does. He walks around freely in. I mean, I've seen him talk to Muslims and completely just Jesus is in the Quran. No, he's not. I mean, this guy is great.
Okay, good.
We're going to
find out who he is.
We're going to have to go.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for that, Stevie V.
Not a problem. Hey, you got a second?
No, I've literally got less than a minute.
I'll talk to you later.
You got it, boss. Bye. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Show me a picture of him. Have I seen this guy before?
I don't know. I've watched his videos.
Is he an older gentleman?
Older gentleman,
thin, blondish hair, grayish hair.
He's pretty well on these
He's
days.
always standing outside. He's very he kind of looks like a better looking who's the guy?
John Kerry.
Yeah, he looks like he is a better looking John Kerry guy. That's right. I have seen him before. He's from here?
I did not know that. Yeah.
Oh, we have to. And he's got a church?
That's not a great picture of him.
No, I've seen him before. I know exactly who he is.
Yeah, there he is.
I have seen him before. Yeah, yes, that's exactly him.
Yeah.
I do know him. He's got to be on the show. I have seen him before.
I like this guy. I like him a lot.
Really? So he's somebody you were watching immediately after Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. He is, and he's got a very commanding grasp of the Bible.
He's calm, and he's able to approach, Charlie may have been considered inflammatory. I didn't see him as inflammatory. But this guy takes Charlie Kirk and makes him even more calm. His overall demeanor. He's
he listens.
very non-threatening.
What I love about this guy, and I've never known his name, but what I like about him is that not just his calm demeanor. He stands there and he paces and he lets them go.
Yeah.
And I guess because he knows biblical scripture, chapter and verse, and not just his own, but even the Quran or the Torah. And he knows it chapter and verse. And he's so well versed in it. When he listens to them, he will then cite exactly those things. Yeah. Is he the guy who had that video with the young black man from Nigeria? I know he's from Africa, and they're all having a discussion about how Christianity was forced on Africans.
And he tells him about Ethiopia.
Yeah, it was Ethiopia, and he tells him about how Christianity was there before the Crusades.
The oldest place outside of the Middle East, the only other place where it is old and still taught in Aramaic is in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
The oldest Bible in the world in Ethiopia. The oldest church in the world, Ethiopia.
Yeah. I should have mentioned that with Brandon, who was here yesterday, with talking about Christianity in Africa. Because I asked him about that, about whether or not that was one of the things that people discussed. Anyway, I got to go. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. She is Roseanne on the radio. Say goodnight, Roseanne.
Good night, Roseanne.